Alrighty guys, welcome back to one of my amazing videos starring me, Mick Shez, and let's get to this. So, I don't know if I want to keep this car date thing up, but it's going well, and apparently a lot of people like what I'm saying about it, or saying in it, so we're just gonna keep going with it. So, there's another picture that's been going around, which I'll put up from Instagram. It's basically a GTR from 1320, one of their videos, against the Bugatti, and I don't know how to say this whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure it's like Chiron, I don't know. But basically, the Chiron has a W16 with quad turbos making 1500 horsepower, while the T1 race development GTR, aka the Alpha G, has a V6 with twin turbos making 2500 horsepower. Which that's a pretty big difference in between the two. Let's get into a little more detail about them. The GTR has the newest Alpha VR 38 billet version 2 engine block, which is also a 4.1 liter. And it has two Garrett GTX turbos with 70 PSI each, or 46 PSI when it's running a 7.43 second quarter mile. Well, the Chiron has a stock engine that is literally 8.1 liters, stock transmission, stock everything. But also the GTR being more widely available, that makes parts more accessible. There's literally even parts on freaking eBay. Note that most of them are like aerodynamic parts and not really performance parts, but still. And to contrast, the Chiron only has 500 units in existence, and not even all of them are made yet. And literally, I think only about 180 are actually bought, and they have literally no aftermarket parts. So, just to compare the two, the Chiron has twice as many liters, 266.7% more cylinders, but only has 60% horsepower compared to the GTR. There's lots of reasonings behind it, but besides the fact that the GTR is basically all racing parts and whatnot, it's more because of the laws of power, which, keeping it simple, means only a certain amount of power can be created from a certain size power plant. So assuming all materials of said power plant are the same, you can only get a limited amount of power from one plant without getting bigger and heavier. So in the terms of cars, that means you can only get a certain amount of power before the power to weight ratio peaks, which means that once you create a certain degree of power, no matter what you add, even if it does add horsepower, means it's going to get heavier, which just counteracts the power in terms of going fast. Also, that means you have to try to fit more engine into a tighter space, unless you just want a bigger car completely. But these are just both way different spectrums. The GTR, or Alpha G, is meant for drag racing, while the Chiron is more of a luxury track car. And to be honest, in my opinion, these aren't even comparable. But I'm gonna do a little experiment. It's kinda cheap, or whatever, but it's gonna be with some, I wouldn't say toy, but they're like die-cast Lamborghinis, and I said they're not really toy because they kind of wind up, but you push it back and it goes. So I'm going to be doing an experiment with those and comparing the sizes because they're all different ratios, and they basically almost have all the same wind-up engines except for the biggest one, which actually is weaker. So this might be interesting. So let's go with that. Alrighty guys, so we're here with three cars. We got one 32, whatever you want to call it, Gallardo, 136 Murcielago, and 138 Aventador. Now, I believe these two both have the same engine thing or wind-up thing, whatever you want to call it. This one is a lot heavier, but I actually think it somewhat has a weaker one. So I don't know how this is going to go. This is just an experiment. My predictions are it's probably going to be this one, saying how it feels like it has the most powerful engine and also is smaller and lighter than this one, and this one is just meh. So let's get to the actual experiment. Alrighty guys, so here we are with the test. I'm going to do the smallest one first, which is 1/38. And we're basically going to be measuring the finish line right here, where this nice lovely crack is. And basically over here. So we're going to crank it all the way up. Like 3, 2, 1. What? Oh, it did make it towards the crack. I thought it was a line off. So we're going to measure that, see how fast that was. Alright, now the second biggest one, the Murcielago. Let's go. Alright, we're going to do that time too. And now, according to this should be the fastest, even though in all reality this would actually be the slowest, saying how it only has like 560 horsepower compared to 620 and 700. So yeah, let's go. Well, that was actually really slow. Alrighty guys, so we just got done with the experiment, but I forgot to mention in the testing that the Gallardo is heavier and has somewhat of a weaker engine. So as a test, follow the actual power to weight ratio of all of them. The Aventador was the fastest, and that's what I thought was going to be the fastest too, with the Murcielago coming shortly after, and the Gallardo actually somewhat being with the Murcielago. So that was just a pretty good experiment, just testing them out, and yeah. So anyways guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, you can subscribe. If you have something to say about this video, you can drop a comment down below. But other than that guys, I hope you have a boosted rest of your day, live your life at full throttle, and keep it 100. Other than that, I'm out.